Ready Player One. Exactly.
He's a Time Lord, so he's already heard it.
Yeah.
Excellent Doctor Who reference.
Nerd points.
Are you watching? Are you up to date with? No. Well,
Do you guys get the reference I'm doing now?
yes, we do, Ed. We get the reference.
The master?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to. Hold on, almost done setting up.
Yes.
Coming out, so.
We get the reference.
Just gonna do a little record test.
Record, test, check, test, record.
Excellent. We're not using that. We are using that. And pause this. Bring up. There's a flap thing. There it is. And okay.
Silence your cell phones if you want to, and when you hear the music, we're starting, so be quiet unless you or Josh, because.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the FlappCast, where we find out what goes on behind the funny here at Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant in Burbank, California. 9120. Oh, I should know this. 910. What is it? 9. It's one of the nines.
Don't look at me.
9. What is it? I write this every day. It is. What is it? It's not here. Oh, 91502. There it is. 91502.
Yeah.
Did it. 91502 here in Burbank. And of course, we also have a club in Claremont. 91711 is that area code. That's not an area code. That's an address. This has not been starting out well. This has been starting out poorly. I should know these things, and I do not know them. But now I know them, and we are talking about them. What is going on behind the scenes here at Flappers? Couple updates. Jeff Garland is doing a show every Sunday called Sundays with Jeff Garland. You'll never guess what day it's on. And last Sunday he had Bob Odenkirk, who was here from Saul of Better Call Saul, or Breaking Bad. There you go. And we have a special guest, by the way. His name is Seth Shapiro. He performs here all the time. Welcome, Seth Shapiro.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me.
Seth Shapiro I'll be interviewing Seth Shapiro, and then we'll be bantering and perhaps discussing more of Doctor Who and how you have not kept up with the most recent season, but that's all right.
Yeah, you'll have to catch me up for sure.
Oh, I can, but I'll restrain myself. And then we will do our Punch It Up segment, and all will be well. Hello, sir. Are you here to see the FlappCast?
I'm here to do 3 minutes.
Oh, are you Doyle?
Yes, I am.
Well, have a seat,
Thank you.
Doyle. You're in the right place.
Thank you.
Excellent. That's good. But yes, so Sundays with Jeff Garland. Last week he had Bob Odenkirk. Who knows who we'll have this week? It's a celebrity guest. Who knows? I don't know. He knows probably. I mean, I'm sure.
I hope.
Yeah, one
If
would
anyone
assume.
does.
And then also this Friday we have Andy Dick, who is doing his show You Never Know with Andy Dick. I think the original title of the show was going to be An Intimate Evening with a Dick, which would have been an awesome title. But You Never Know is good. He's going to go up. He's going to tell some stories, do some crowd work, and be his Dick self. So that's happening. Andy Dick. There we go. It's fun to say his last name. Dick. David Koechner will be here Saturday. This Saturday, June 11th. David Koechner, of course, from Anchorman and The Office, and his catchphrase on Anchorman was whammy, and his catchphrase on The Office was, I don't know, I didn't watch The Office. But I'm sure he was funny in a classic David Koechner sort of way. The other thing I know about David Koechner, very hard last name for me, very difficult to spell. Because it's Koechner, but it's Koechner. That's very weird. That's a difficult one.
You have to kind of train your brain to just take that O out.
Right.
The name, and then you're okay.
Yes, that O throws me every time.
Koechner.
So that is kind of, and then Bert Kreischer next weekend. I like that name because it kind of sounds like Chrysler. And he's very funny, etc. So good. All right, but let's get to it. Let's get to the man of the hour right here, Seth Shapiro.
Yeah.
Seth Shapiro,
Here I am.
the Shapiro of chef.
You know, I'm actually impressed. I was about to say I'm impressed that you can do my name just fine, but it finally got to you. It's enough. There's way too many sibilant sounds in my name, Seth Shapiro. You can't really say it without spitting at some point. Doing it right.
Do people ever call you Shapiro?
Yeah, the Shapiro. People growing up, people had a problem with Seth because that was not really a common name back in the '80s. And I got Seth. People misremember my name all the time and call me Sean. So
Sean
if I've met someone, a new person, like within the first 5 minutes, if they want to call me by my name again, half the time they call me Sean.
What do you think? Why is Seth more popular? Is it because of?
Well, I guess there were a lot of us that started out in the '80s, but it wasn't a well-known name before that.
Right.
Probably the Seth books, the Seth Speaks books, are part of the reason for the popularity that came out in the late '70s. I found out just recently that's one of the reasons I was named Seth was because of those books.
Oh, really?
Seth Speaks, yeah.
That's where they got the name from. Your parents.
Well, yeah, part of it, Dad, and named after some great-grandfather whose name started with S, and then it's like that's the very Jewy thing to do is you don't actually name directly the name.
Right,
You use the same first letter.
Right, you're not allowed to do it. There's no second and thirds in the Jewish culture.
Yeah, exactly. Right. No juniors, no thirds.
Yeah, no juniors. No. It's you can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do tattoos. Can't do lobster.
Yeah. Well, apparently we can do tattoos now.
Oh.
Yeah, my mother is a rabbi actually, which sounds like the beginning of it, but it's not. It's not a setup at all. She just recently became a rabbi. I mean, recently, about a decade ago, but she was like a broker her whole life before that. And then she became a rabbi, and then she came to visit me out here a couple years ago. And I brought her with me to my personal trainer session. She's like, I want to work out too. That sounds great. And then she showed up and she had these shorts. She goes, you want to see something crazy? And she pulled the sides of her shorts down. Already, this was like horribly psychologically disturbing. And she had the largest, gaudiest, I hate to say that it was gaudy, but this humongous tattoo completely on the side of her hip. That was like a big Jewish, it was a Hamsa, which is, the hand with the eye in it. And it was incredibly ornate. I'm like, but what about the whole thing about the tattoo? She's like, I read some article that, some guy said that we've been interpreting it wrong and it's okay. Like after all that, all it takes is some article on Slate to change your mind.
Well, yeah, because it was,
fine.
yeah, because there's something in scripture about it. But I thought it was also kind of because of the whole Holocaust thing. And,
Right. Yeah, it's our N-word is not to get tattoos.
Right, exactly.
But I guess instead of embracing it, we continue to say no to it.
Well,
Oh, whatever.
But you heard it here first, folks, that if you're a Jew and you want a tattoo, it's up to you. There we go.
Right. I just got one. I just got my first one.
Oh, you did?
I'm getting married in 2.5 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thank you. And we're getting married in Vegas, and so when she and I were there about 6 months ago to start doing a lot of the planning, on the way out of town I surprised her. We went to a tattoo parlor and commemorated it. So I got the King of Hearts on my wrist, and then she got the Queen of Hearts, and so...
Queen of Hearts, that's
yeah,
good.
so that'll be fun.
Hopefully not foreboding. Hopefully not like the Alice in Wonderland Queen of Hearts suit.
Right, and if it doesn't work out, people ask, I can just be like, because I like playing cards.
Right. It would be really weird if you had an affair with someone who had like a diamond tattoo or something.
Yeah,
That would be.
it would. Trying to make the whole deck by the end of my life.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that didn't go anywhere. All right. So let's talk about you and comedy. Comedy and Seth Shapiro. Seth Shapiro. Comedy. Comedy and Seth Shapiro.
Yes.
Comedy and Seth Shapiro together.
All right.
Sorry.
Let's talk about it.
How long have you been? When did you start? Where did you start? Why?
I've been out. I mean, in the lame artistic philosophical sense, I feel like I've been doing comedy my whole life. That old thing. It came out of the moon. That's definitely. I mean, I've been doing acting and comedic stuff in school ever since I was probably like 5 or 6, and then. I studied acting at University of Illinois. I grew up in Chicago. I was born in Vegas, but then I moved to Chicago when I was 6 and then grew up there. And then So I studied acting in Illinois, and then I moved out here with a couple of friends in 2003 to do acting. And I'm trained as an actor, but most likely because of, I don't know, how I look or my sensibilities, I tended to go out for more comedic things. And so I did stand-up itself. I only started doing a couple of years ago. I did some of it back in college, and then when I came out here and I saw what it takes to do stand-up, I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this at some point in my life, but I can see that to really get good at it, you have to really, really commit yourself, time-wise, energy-wise. Like, you have to really get obsessed and kind of addicted to it. And I love stand-up so much that I'm such a huge fan of it that I'm like, I'm not going to do that until I really feel like I have the time. And so I've been doing acting for the past, I did that for 11 years, and I did a lot of sketch comedy, I did a lot of improv. I went through Groundlings when I first came out here. I went through that school, and then I dabbled a little bit in the other schools. I grew up doing Second City in Chicago, doing those classes. That's kind of where my heart lies, probably, is mostly in Second City. And then, yeah, I've just been doing a lot out here. I taught it for a little while. I kind of fell into this improv school that wasn't one of the main ones, that a friend of mine who actually is marrying us in a couple of weeks, he taught it, and then he had to go away for a while, so he left the school in my hands for a little bit. And then
That sounded ominous. Is he okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So like he went out of the country to shoot a film.
Oh, okay. I had to go away. Was like, I don't know, witness
Yeah,
protection.
I had to go away for a while. Just saying, I didn't do some good things. So. No, yeah, he's fine. And then I was a part of a group. I was part of an improv group that participated in the cage match at Improv Olympic, and we ended up breaking the all-time record. It was a weekly competition.
What was the group?
Yeah, our group was called Elron Jeremy. When I first put the group together, I was like, we need to have some kind of name that's a really dumb play on words that involves a couple of different, cultural references, and it's maybe a little dirty.
Wow.
And immediately, one guy in my group was, "How about Elron Jeremy?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, fine, that's it, that's it, done." And so yeah, we ended up winning for a year straight, undefeated, and then we retired at 52-0, and it was really fun. It was one of the best times.
So, what for you was the major shift, or was there any major shift in jumping from improv to stand-up?
I'd like to say that there was some epiphany sitting at home, and now is the time for me to do this. But really what happened was I'd been writing a screenplay with a friend of mine. We went to the Comedy Store one night, ran into a friend who works there, and he saw that we had our journals with us. And he's like, "Oh, you guys working on stand-up?" And I was like, "Oh, no, we're just writing this thing." And he had been kind of pushing me to get into stand-up, this friend of mine. And he's like, "Why don't you come to the open mic in a few days, and I'll make sure I get you up." And I was like, "Oh, I don't want you to have to pull that favor."
Who's the friend?
A guy, Jim Andium.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I was like, "I don't want you to have to pull that favor." He's like, "No, it's fine, man. Don't worry about it." So that was on.
That sounds like Jim.
Yeah. No, it's cool. So it was on. That was on like a Friday or a Saturday, and so I just tried. All weekend long, I furiously tried to put together 3 not terrible minutes of comedy, and then showed up on. Monday it was around 6 p.m. At around 4 p.m., the world got the news that Robin Williams died.
Ooh.
It was that day, and I was like, "Oh man, I can't start a stand-up comedy career like the day Robin Williams died." And so I was kind of using that as an excuse to not go. But then I just kind of flipped it. And I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna, it was very presumptuous of me to be like, no, the world should laugh today, as if I was going to get laughs and kill. But I'm like, no, I'll do it, whatever, I promised him I would. And I went, and it went okay, I didn't bomb. And then I thought, okay, maybe I'll just work on this for a while and see where it goes. And, I haven't really...
Do you have your first joke?
I talked about I talked about how I was like in such bad shape that like I was getting winded just answering the door, and so now like when someone knocks on the door, I have to like weigh my options if it's worth it to go through that workout. And then that sort of bled into talking about into what's that snack mix, Gardetto's snack mix that I was talking about. I don't know how it evolved into, that have those little brown discs that are like, people just eat those, and how they actually just make bags of those that they actually call Gardetto's special request, which means that's definitely happened, that like 800-pound people across America have actually written in request letters to just have bags of those.
First of all, I didn't know that those bags existed, and number two, now that I know.
You're very welcome. You're going to look like me in about 6 months.
Right.
If you know that.
That's all I want is the discs. You guys have the nuts and all the other crap. I know. I'm right there with you.
Right. So that's kind of what it was. So then it went into an act out of this 800-pound guy writing a very polite correspondence. Dear Scott Dedos, it's been a fortnight since my latest. And talking about how he hates having to go through the bag just to find those sweet. Yeah.
I like that he's fat, but Shakespearean.
Oh yeah, very. It's classy. You get classy when you can't get out of your own apartment all day. You just stay home.
And using the forknife, always useful. Now, what I've noticed about you, other than your dashing good looks,
Obviously.
is that so you've been producing a show here, Seth Shapiro and Friends.
Yeah.
Which has been successful. Like good crowds for that.
Yeah, it's still going, so I guess that means it's a success at this
So, can you take me through? At what point did you decide I want to start producing a show, and what kind of goes into it for you?
Well, I've just noticed that I feel like a lot of the smaller book shows that I've had the opportunity to do around town are bar shows or small things in little clubs or coffee shops, whatever they are, is that they tend to fizzle out after a few months because there's this big rush at first. Whoever's putting the show together has whatever contacts are in their life, but they don't really concentrate on putting together like a really solid show. Instead of getting 5 or 6 comedians that they know are really solid to do 10 minutes each, they get like 20 comedians doing 3 minutes, and they make it a bringer show. So it's like, great, those 20 comedians each get a few friends out, but those few friends that everyone brings are probably not going to come again if they're not enjoying the whole show. Mm-hmm. And so I really wanted to concentrate and try to figure out how can I market this so that people can come back, so that I don't have to every month try to get people to come one time. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I've really just tried to put up the best comedians I know. I mean, people who are way better than me, way more experienced than me. And I kind of advertise it as that. Like, I'm by far the least professional of the comics you'll see tonight. Mm. And so if you can tolerate me, you're going to absolutely love this show.
Gotcha. So what kind of things did you do to help promote it?
I made flyers and the first few shows I just stood outside the theater the day before and the day of and handed them out.
Cool.
Tried to on the nights when it fell into the same slot as the drop-in Tuesdays, I really tried to hit that point. Like, you'll never know who you might see, who might drop in, and just hit up all my friends on Facebook and did all that kind of stuff. I was a little worried at first because I felt like I had used up lifetimes worth of favors from the friends that had come to see us in that improv cage match run that we had, which was just an insane outpouring of support that we had for a year straight of our friends then telling their friends and their friends. So I've also tried to emphasize among my friends who have come to these shows, like, hey, bring your friends so that I can stop harassing you to come to these shows.
Have you ever booked some of the improv groups on your shows here?
No, I've just been keeping it to stand-up, but a lot of the stand-ups that I've had I've done improv with. Matt Knutson, Jonathan Kite. I'm trying to think who else. Tonight on my show tonight, Bill Cott is on, who I know Bill Cott through improv.
Do you only book comedians with a hard C consonant as the last name?
It's funny. Yeah, I know they're funny if they have that.
I think his name was Matt Knudsen, but he wanted to be on Seth's shows. Right. It's Knudsen. Right, it's
Knudsen. If you can find another place in there for another couple extra Ks, totally cool. Knudsen. Hilarious.
So, okay, you produced the show. That's going well. And I always here's why I like the hat that you're wearing. It reminds me of my grandfather. It's a very Jewish hat, I gotta say. I feel.
I've never been a hat guy my whole life up until 3 or 4 years ago. And then suddenly, I don't know, just started wearing hats here and there. I was in an a cappella group for a minute. I was in a pop a cappella group about 4 years ago. And
were they called Everyone Jeremy as well?
Yeah, no, we were called Evolution, and we were actually. It was very exciting. It was something I'd wanted to do my whole life, and it was this group that was kind of a big fish in the small pond of LA. And they needed a new tenor, buddy of mine was in the group. I had seen him perform, and so I auditioned. It was a great fit, and we really were on the verge of actually seeing if we could take the act on the road, and it's, I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but it didn't work out.
It de-evolved, if you will.
It de-evolved, exactly, yeah. But what came out of that, I think, is that part of our outfits that we tried to cultivate. I mean, we're a bunch of like early 30s guys essentially trying to live our boy band dream. But we'd all been in choir back in high school, so it's like we're doing the best we could with what we understood.
Favorite? Do you have a favorite choir chant? Favorite? I was in choir too. So
Choir.
let's talk some choir
like
chant.
like a warm up. I don't even remember.
Our favorite, one of the Kyries. Did you ever do the Kyrie? How?
Oh yeah, like just doing like old Mozart Requiem.
Yeah,
kind of things.
yeah.
Yeah, song twos. I don't know. Yeah.
What was it? What was it? What was it? Lacrimosa.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we did it. Yeah, we did the Lacrimosa.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's like
The funeral dirge.
yeah, like
Or
a
the-
40-minute long thing we did in this big church in high school. Totally.
Did you do any of the Chanticleer? Rip them off. They were the what they do? Ave Maria. You had to have done an Ave
we
Maria.
definitely did an Ave Maria.
Ave Maria. Join in, goddammit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yes.
It is. It's funny how
Yeah.
like how certain pieces of those songs are still in my brain.
So here's my question.
Forever.
So here's my choir question for you. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
You're in choir.
Yeah.
The holiday show's coming up. What was the one dumb Hanukkah song that you were forced to do?
Oh man. Yeah, we would always do some dumb novelty Hanukkah song every year. I'm like, it was just purely out of Christian guilt that they felt like I just wanted to say to them, like, guys, you don't. It's okay. You totally don't have to do this. Like, don't do it for my benefit, please.
How do we not have good Hanukkah music?
Yeah, we really don't, man.
How do we think
We've got
we
3 or 4. There's 8 nights, 8 lights. It's the worst, man. Well, look, it's not a great holiday. It's a very Hanukkah's a very good example of like Jewish fun, which is like it's nice, safe fun. It's like we spin a top and you get an M&M, and that's what's fun. And we make latkes. What are those? It's fried potatoes. Yeah, I'm American. Like I eat that every day. I eat fried potatoes. So
Yeah, but we serve ours with applesauce.
Applesauce and sour cream even. Oh, all right. It's a little different, I guess. It is. It's a very safe kind of fun. It's yeah.
We shouldn't be. We shouldn't. I don't know. I don't want to piss off your mother, the rabbi.
It's fine.
What does your father do?
She'll be fine. He's a pediatrician.
Pediatrician and a rabbi. Wow,
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah. You'd think I'd be loaded, but I'm not. I'm flat broke.
My dad's a lawyer, so between
There you go.
how many Jewish cliches have we managed to cover between the two of us?
Seriously. And my dad, not a lawyer, as we just said, but his name is Robert Shapiro.
Oh,
and
God.
during the whole OJ trial, he was prank called like all the time. How's OJ, man? Click. The whole time.
They're in Chicago right now or Vegas?
No, my parents got divorced in Vegas when I was 2.
Uh,
And then my mom and I moved to Chicago when I was 6.
Mhm.
But I would still visit him on all the vacations. And
So he's still in
He
Vegas?
still lives there with
Okay.
my stepmom.
I gotcha. And what does she do? And who's she?
Now she's retired. Her name's Betty. She's amazing. She's one of my favorite people in my life. She's fantastic.
Gotcha. What did she do when?
What did she do? I don't know. She just had random office jobs here and there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And did your mom remarry or?
No, never remarried. Married to God. No, she never really did. Her job was just kind of, I don't know, putting food on the table for me and working her broker job and being a mom and.
So she's a broker. She's dealing with finances, and then
Right.
one day she says, "I need God. That's what I need."
I guess I don't know how it happened. I think maybe we took some. I know we took a trip to Israel when I was like 13, and I think it was a very transcendental experience for her. And then I think she just kind of got the idea in her head and then decided she maybe wanted to do it and then waited until I was in college for a couple of years before enrolling and going back to college herself for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Rabbi. What was her name?
Leah. Rabbi Leah Hers.
Rabbi Leah. Wow.
Yes.
Rabbi Leah. Leah, of course.
It was Louise.
Uh-huh.
And then when she became a rabbi, she legally changed her name to her Hebrew name, which is Leah.
Leah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Leah was a Hebrew name. I should know that.
Yeah. Who's someone's wife? Jacob's wife, maybe?
Right. Yeah, Princess Leia. I got it.
Sure. Same thing.
Yeah. No, that's
Same diff.
Jewish name.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that just leads more credence to the fact that there's a lot of Jewish stuff going on in Star Wars. You have Princess Leia, okay, the son Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, but come on, Benjamin,
Right.
Jewish.
Total Jew.
There's a lot. I think that they, and who did they blow up? Alderaan. Well, technically she was adopted.
Right.
Technically she was Naboo.
But our culture is all about. We welcome anyone
Right.
into our religion and culture. It's hard to not be Jewish if you're at any point in your life, even like a fraction of Jewish. The Jews like to claim.
Right. As long as you're the underdog, I think we'll take you. But,
Oh, totally.
Anything other than that, no, not so much.
If you've ever even eaten a bagel, we're like, yeah, you're Jewish. It's fine.
You're right. There are people. They did a survey, and they found that there were people in this country who identified as Jewish just because they have a sense of humor.
Yeah, we'll take them. We'll take them. Every religion's about numbers, and I feel like the Christians have so many numbers, so they're about even trying to get more, and the Jews are just trying to hang on to what they got.
Right. It's tough. But both of my cousins married non-Jews.
Yeah, I'm marrying a non-Jew. I mean, I'm not religious at all.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's gonna be.
So that'll be
bad.
fun.
It's gonna be bad. Okay, so I don't know why I'm ending it. It's gonna be bad. Bad for the Jews. Bad for the Jews.
Anyway.
Bad for the Jews. They're gonna need that missile system. But anyway. But back to Seth Shapiro. What? Any shows coming up? I would assume.
Yeah,
that-
my next Seth Shapiro and Friends is tonight in just a couple hours.
Perfect.
In the Yoo-Hoo Room, 7:30.
Yoo-Hoo Room 7:30. Seth
Yeah.
Shapiro. What friends are coming tonight?
Okay, who've we got? We've got Jonathan Kite,
Uh-huh.
Bill Cott.
Wow.
For Jonathan, it's really exciting because he's shooting a Netflix special in a month, and so he will be doing a lot of stuff tonight that he wants to. It's pretty much there, but he's going to be doing it for his show, so he's trying to really get it right tonight.
Cool.
Yeah, he's my best man at my wedding, by the way. He's
Oh,
like
wow.
my best buddy. We went to college together, and he's very tall and lanky, and I'm short and kind of stocky. So in college, he and I were always like the two clowns in whatever the play was, and then we moved out here together. He's my best buddy.
What plays were you clowns in?
Oh God, we were Henry V.
Oh yeah, probably Falstaff and.
No, we were there. Falstaff's like the main guy, and then there are these three schnooks.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's right.
Bardolph, Pistol, and Nim, and I was
Uh-huh.
Bardolph, and he was Pistol. And then the guy who played Nim actually just moved out here too, so we're all back together again. We were in Brighton Beach Memoirs together. We were the two brothers, which is like it's like we were supposed to be playing 13 and 17 or something, but of course it's college casting, so that's what they do. Couple other Shakespearean shows. I can't remember.
Oh, I'm a huge Shakespeare fan. That's
Othello. Was he in Othello with me? I don't know. We've done a
you were
million.
the two. Did Othello have clowns?
Yeah, everything had a clown in it. I was a clown, but it was even in something as tragic and serious as Othello. The clown is like just more he's the less serious,
Right.
But he's still serious.
Right.
It's like, oh, thank God, it's not like life and death just for a minute. It's just like,
Wait,
this guy's mad that someone ate all of his.
I was the
corn.
clown in Othello.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just comes out and is like, "Oh, the weather's nice," and then leaves. I think that was it.
I had this thing happen. In
Here's
college.
one joke, audience, and that's it. And back to the
Yeah,
crying.
it's like that's all you need. It's Othello. You know what you were getting yourself into. I kept getting killed. That became my reputation in college. Our fight choreographer, brilliant man, Robin McFarker. He's like a Tony Award-winning fight choreographer. He works at Goodman on places. Amazing guy, but I
Wait,
don't.
his name is McFarker.
Yes, but it's not really spelled like that. It's like Farquhar. It's British or Scottish or something.
But
And-
McFarker.
yeah. You know what? You make fun of him at your own risk because he might kill me. In
Oh, what's he gonna do? Choreograph at me?
Oh, it's been great knowing you. It's been great knowing you. He was a badass of a guy, and I had all the respect for him in the world, but I don't think he liked or really respected me. So I kept getting cast in these roles where, like, I would play a few roles in each show, and every role would be killed or made in a different way. And I think he really relished.
Be honest. You were in your dorm privately.
Thank you. I will bring it.
McFarker. Yeah, I love that guy, man.
That's
genius.
a character name in Judd Apatow movie. I
Totally.
think McFarker.
Yeah, McFarker. Yeah, that's McLovin's like dirty uncle. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Why are you not more on board with that?
I'm gonna write that.
Sometimes I wonder. Just hysterical.
But sorry. So who else is on today? Going back to that. So Jonathan,
promoting
Bill
yourself.
Cott, Bill Cott, who's an incredibly funny guy. You definitely know him if you saw him. He's been in a million things. He's in The Ringer. He was the voice of the announcer on a lot of the TV Funhouse cartoons back in the late 90s on
With
SNL.
Robert Smigel.
The Ambiguous Gay Duo and the Ex-Presidents. He was the announcer voice. Tune in next time. Amazingly funny dude. Michael Schertzer, Nicole Aimee Schreiber. I don't know, maybe she just goes by Nicole Aimee. I can't remember. But
It's not Amy.
no,
Aimee.
Nikki Amy. Yeah, and who else? Amir Khalil. And
I know Amir.
and Jacob Givens. And Jacob Givens, who is also a good friend of mine from college, and a big part of how I got into stand-up, because he's been doing it for a while. And so after I'd hit up the Comedy Store mic, I called him the next day. I'm like, hey, I want to take you to lunch, and I just want to pick your brain for a few hours, and you tell me what you know.
So,
He called me up.
take me really quickly, kind of take me through what your writing process is. How does Seth Shapiro take an idea?
I think I probably am more a writer first than a performer as far as finding my material. I don't think I find it on stage as much as I work on it at home. I'll write out just a basic idea, but then I'll talk it out at home, and I'll work with different jokes. I'll come up with different things, rephrase them, and then I'll come up with something that, maybe it's still just because I feel like myself that I'm a beginner, that I don't feel comfortable enough working things out on stage. There's definitely that in it.
Right.
But I feel like when I perform it in front of a crowd, I want it to be some type of finished product, because so that I can gauge their reaction based on what I've got, instead of having all of the excuses of that's not even really what I'm trying to do with this. So, how am I supposed? It's already hard enough to know how the bit is working by having to do it in front of 100 audiences, because they're all different. But I will change it up as I'm performing it. But I do like to have some kind of finished thing when I get it up in front of a crowd. And then I think the way I think that comedically, I think as a writer, like I think of funny ideas because I've written a lot of sketch, and so I do think that early on, especially, a lot of my ideas are like funny concepts that I've found a way to turn into a character or a bit, and then work from there. And I'm really more recently starting to finally actually go personal on stage. But as it is right now, I don't know. I kind of feel like that's such a small window of what to do, because really the only rules of this is that it's you and that it has to be comedy, hopefully. That it's got to be funny. And so it doesn't have to really be if it can be anything, it can be any characters. It can be, I like really screwing with the format of stand-up. I like messing with the audience. I like to start to do a bit that they think, okay, this is a standard bit where he's talking about this and it's set up punch, and then just really take it in another direction. I like discomfort, and sometimes that means making the audience uncomfortable. But I think that once they get what I'm doing, that they're really on board and like, okay, something really weird and different and new. So.
Yeah, I don't like discomfort, but that doesn't stop me
from embracing it.
All right. Well, listen, Seth. I want to thank you, Jew to Jew, for coming out and doing this.
Thank you. I'll see you at the meetings.
Yes. See how he yes-anded it? Do you see how he yes-anded it? We're now going to do the Punch It Up, and that's what we're comedians to do 3 minutes, and we'll be giving the constructive criticism. Constructive. Don't tear these people down.
So nothing like, can you make that not suck?
Yes,
not
exactly.
that kind of nuts. Okay.
Exactly. It's not that kind of a situation, and there's a piece of paper that you can take notes on. And I see you already brought a pen.
Always got one on me. I'm one of those guys. Even in high school, I was like the guy who always had a pen on him, had a calculator watch. That was very much me.
Listen, don't sell yourself short. That's what my grandmother always did.
So wait, did you sell one of the calculator watches that popped off and it was a transformer? Do you remember those?
But I was jealous of the kid who had it.
Yeah.
Very jealous. Was that you?
Which transformer was it?
Yeah, I did. It was just, I think it was a knockoff, but...
Oh, not an actual transformer?
Yeah, I don't know if it was officially licensed stuff, but it seemed like a little...
Optimus Secondary.
Yeah, like a little thing that popped off and it was the calculator. And
Optimus Shrine. No.
Sweet.
Just a P is crossed out.
All right, guys. Let us begin with the lovely Kelly Thewlis.
Yeah!
All right.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for having me, Seth, Josh. I'm pretty excited to be here. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun on this podcast. But before we get into that, there's something that I do want to discuss that something I know is on all of our hearts and minds, and that's of course Jurassic Park. The first one, not the sequels. We'd be here all night if we started talking about the sequels, you know. But the first one is perfect. Like, it's perfect. It's got a great story, a great cast. It's got great visual effects for the time that, you know, still hold up today. It's got John Williams, that rock star, does the soundtrack. That's my workout mix. That's how good that is. I absolutely love it. There's one flaw that I know in the film. It's a science issue. It's not really believable in real life. And that is Jeff Goldblum injures his leg, right? And that injury spreads from his leg to his shirt buttons and just destroys them and like leaves him bare-chested for the rest of the film. I looked this up on WebMD where I get all my medical advice that's not medically sound. Not how leg injuries work. It's charming flaw. Another reason that I really like Jurassic Park, and it's kind of a personal thing, is that I deal with depression and anxiety pretty much like every comedian you've ever met, ever. And the way it manifests itself with me is I'll have panic attacks and I'll freeze, which is by far the worst self-defense mechanism that there is, right? Like, it's useless. That's why you don't hear about it. You only ever hear about fight or flight. You don't hear about freeze, because it does no good. Unless, and I learned this from Jurassic Park, unless you're fighting dinosaurs, then it's the perfect response. They can't see you if you freeze. It's perfect. It's a skill that has no practicality in modern day. You know, I don't have depression. I'm better equipped to fight dinosaurs. That's what it is. Does no good, but it is on my resume under special skills. It's like Kelly Thewlis, effective communicator, California license, dinosaur hunter. Proud of it. I'm not very good at dating. Another fun common trait amongst comedians. I know it has absolutely nothing to do with me and everything to do with everybody else. But no, I take some responsibility for it. I tend to like guys with commitment issues. Like, they're already in a commitment, that's the issue. I don't know. Growing up, we were talking religion earlier. I was raised Catholic. And so my confirmation saint was Mary Magdalene. Weird choice for an 8th grader. Pretty spot on as an adult. A patron saint of the friend zone, Mary Magdalene. Was she really a whore, or was she just trying to get Jesus' attention, you know? That's what I kind of wonder. Like, she's probably just like sitting around with her girlfriends being like, oh my god. Like, of course, we're all named Mary. And she's like, I just met the greatest guy. He loves his mom. He's so sweet, but he's a workaholic. He's got 2 careers going, carpentry and savioring. I mean, he's going to work himself to death. That's what I wonder. Do you think Jesus went around telling people that carpentry was just his day job and it was just a thing he was doing until savoring really took off? Like, he's like, hey, buddy, I got a blessing later on. You should come on out. There's a 2 at a minimum, but the flatbreads are from heaven. It's so good. All right, guys, you know way too much about me. Thank you so much.
All right, Kelly, keep the mic. You can keep the mic and come sit on the couch.
Oh, ooh.
Excellent. Very nice, Kelly.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for doing the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. How long have you been doing stand-up?
About 2 years.
2 years. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
because I've been around.
Yeah.
See you all the time
Uh-huh.
at the shows. So shall I start with?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I will. Really comfortable on stage. Really good at picking out the absurdities that you see around you. I think the 2 big thoughts are, in general, I think you can condense what you're saying.
Okay.
And take out a lot of the extra words. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, with Jurassic Park, like, you might be able to just go on stage and say, here's what I noticed in Jurassic Park.
Uh-huh.
Jeff Goldblum injures his ankle,
Uh-huh.
and apparently that injury extends to his shirt buttons. Like, literally that's, like, all of the stuff before that, I'm not sure you need.
Okay.
because or the stuff before that, because that's what I felt like you were leading to, right?
Right.
And that the stuff before that could be other jokes,
Right.
that have to do with Jurassic Park. But that's the only thing you need with that.
It's also just my open love letter.
That was kind of Goldbluming what you just did right there.
Oh, wait.
And
And I don't. They say that the
nature.
finds a way. They like destroying the landmarks. No, it's from the Independence Day rehash. Depression, and then I wrote an arrow to something, which looks like depression to dinosaurs. Yes. So this is the other thought that came to my mind, because it's interesting, because I also like to talk about movies and dissect them and find the jokes in them. And the tricky part that I find is is communicating why am I talking about this?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you talking about why are you ripping Jurassic Park, or not rip, or why are you why does it bother you about the thing with the shirt? That's, as an audience, that's the question I'm asking myself. And I think the more that you can have an answer for that. So actually, let me ask you, why does that legitimately bother you? Do you like it? Do you not like it? How do you?
No, it's just a silly thing in the film. It's just a.
It's just a weird, yeah.
Just a weird.
A weird.
It was obviously to like highlight Jeff Goldblum at the time, but it has no.
I didn't even know. Was he a sex symbol? I mean, I guess.
I think he thought.
It's like they tried to make him.
Yeah, like they
Right.
really.
Just for that movie.
You know what I remember is the scene where he's kind of propped up.
Yeah.
That's where it was really, and you see the chest hair, and it was
Uh-huh.
just very, they took it, they took a lot of time with the special effects and the Raptors, but there was also an equal amount of time given to make sure that looks right.
Yeah.
And who knows how much of that was fixed in post. Am I right, ladies?
CGI'd his pecs.
The other, I think the other big note for you too is I want to know. It's always really important to figure out, to establish very quickly who you are at the beginning of the set, because then when you go into the jokes about Jurassic Park, we get it from your point of view. It's for someone like Drew Lynch, for instance, who has a stutter. He's got to start out with "I've got the stutter," but
Right.
then what's cool is that he can go in and do a joke about Donald Trump, where he's saying, Donald Trump wants to, because he wants to get rid of all the Mexicans because Mexicans are taking our jobs. Well, I was just on America's Got Talent, and I was beaten up by a British guy. So can we build a wall to,
Yeah.
he was able to kind of bring it back to him,
Right.
and to the stutter and that kind of. And so what I want to know, my big question that I want answered from you at the beginning is, who are you exactly?
Okay.
Who exactly are you? Ray Romano, this is the set I always recommend people watch. Watch Ray Romano's David Letterman set. The 5-minute set that he did. Because that set, you know exactly who he is. He outlines his entire life, and David Letterman produced Everyone Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
So that was like the
That
show.
was
And that's, I think, what we're all looking for when we're coming up with that 3 to 5 minute,
Yeah.
set. And I know nobody probably told you to do that for this, but I'm telling you now.
Do it now.
Yes,
Got it.
that's. I want to know who you are. But we'll get.
Okay.
So, what are your notes? And we'll get
Yeah.
back to that.
Okay, so what I was thinking is that, just to be able to talk about an absurdity of something,
Yeah.
it'll be more interesting to find a way to talk about it without just saying, "Isn't it funny how this?" And to maybe something that I know that I resort to a lot in a lot of my material is I play like the oblivious guy, and so I'll point out something that's ridiculous, but I'll be like, "I had no idea that blank." So
I
maybe
see.
if you take the course of like, did you guys know? Like, I'm learning things about the human body all the time. Like, did you guys and
Did you know that
you can
that's
imagine-
how?
Did you guys know that
medical-
when you break your leg, that it actually causes you to have your shirt rip open and have a big hairy, something
Right,
like
yeah.
that? I had no idea. Like, I went to WebMD, but someone needs to tell them because they don't know either. That kind of thing. And obviously, because of the ridiculousness of that people will get what you're saying and know that you actually don't actually think that.
And I like that observation, by the way. I do like that. I like where you're going with it. I don't want you to by any stretch of the imagination lose that, because I think it's a good complaint. I mean, it's not realistic.
Yeah.
And then the T-Rex thing, or the dinosaur thing,
Yeah.
I love. That's so funny. like you have it on your resume. But I was thinking the more specific and useless you make that skill, the better. So I would even say instead of dinosaurs, I would just say a T-Rex specifically. Because
Right.
that is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It is just and the thing
It's
is,
useless against the Raptors.
and this is
That's
right.
true,
and like
yeah.
this is enough of a cultural reference that if people don't get that works against a T-Rex, they won't really know that it works against dinosaurs either. So you might as well play to those who are going to get it anyway and say
Right.
T-Rex and be like, yeah, I have it on my resume. People are like, oh, how are you against Raptors? Oh, I'll be torn to shreds. But T-Rex is totally cool to
Right.
freeze.
And wouldn't it be nice if it worked in other situations where if you just froze, you just would not be seen? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Like with your
relatives or
boss.
Your boss.
Yeah,
or-
any situation.
Freeze, and they're like, where'd she go? I don't know.
Well,
I was thinking there's got to be more there with the joke about the men with commitments. I mean, I don't know if maybe you
Right.
thought of the joke first and then went backwards to give it, because I do that when I think of a joke. I'm like, okay, I'll just give it a setup and leave it, and have it be a one-liner. But there's probably more gold in there for sure, as far as men with commitments. And then what was I thinking with carpentry? Oh, I would say go even further with that premise of Jesus trying to play off that the carpentry is just his day job. Like really just improv riff it for yourself at home or in front of crowds and see if you can find here's a flyer for, you were talking about the Two Drink.
Yeah.
It's like, come to my one-man savior show, please, like tell your friends, I need to get like 5 people to save tonight. Because having worked at a restaurant for a long time, everyone there is trying, we're trying to make it. We're all, it's all our day job to some extent, so.
What's your biggest secret?
oh boy, whoa, biggest secret. Well, actually, it really, for the longest time, I wouldn't tell anybody about depression or anxiety. That was like my biggest secret. And I just recently was like, no, I'm going to talk about it on stage. Let's just rip that Band-Aid off and really went for it. So that's now it's sort of becoming part of my act.
Gotcha. What's going on with it? Like, are you on medication for it? Has it been?
No, I was, and I just didn't really like the side effects of it and how it was. And I realized that mine wasn't really so much of a chemical. It was more of just a mental view of how I was looking at things, and so I started working on changing that.
What was an example of a rock bottom for you for depression? What was?
Well, I remember in college, there was a point where I just really didn't see any future for myself, which is weird because I have had a great life, but I just didn't really see a future for myself, and so I realized that I should kill myself, right? And when you're in that state, you're not really thinking. So I was looking around, like trying to find something to kill myself with. I'm in this tiny, tiny dorm room, and all I have are safety scissors. So I started kind of hitting myself with it, and then I was like, well, this is designed to not do this. I was like, well, I guess I'll just.
It says on the package, not for suicidal
Yeah,
purposes.
it literally is called safety. You can't damage yourself with them. So I was like, well, I guess I'll live. And then...
Do you talk about that on stage?
I haven't yet, no, but it's been something that I've thought about
That's
doing
hysterical.
before.
That is. See, but but this is the thing. It's like if you open with that,
Yeah.
and then you go into the Jurassic Park bit,
Right.
that it's going to change how that bit. It's going to give it a context.
Yeah.
I think with the and we're gonna. It's important to begin to look for kind of like that through line of I'm always depressed. So when I'm depressed, I'm watching Jurassic Park, and this doesn't turn me on. That only adds, how can the shirt thing then relate to what you're going through? And the more you find that, I think the more it will it'll give it. Here's the other thing too that I would also argue is that you had the instinct, you noticed that the shirt thing was happening,
Right.
and you had the instinct that was funny. And I bet you, if you really kind of dig underneath what that instinct was, you'll find a more personal connection.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll have to watch Jurassic Park again. Best homework ever.
Yeah. But yes, but thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming.
Always a pleasure. We need to keep it moving though. All right. So our next comedian coming to the stage, please, a warm round of applause for Doyle Brand.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Doyle. I'm an only child. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill anybody. After I was born, my parents said, "Oh, he's so adorable. Let's never do that again." You know, and I hate when people say, like, if you're an only child, you're selfish. It's such an unfair stereotype, isn't it? Like, because if you ask me how often I put others before myself, I'm like, whoa, hang on. You're interrupting my me time. I'm an emotional guy, if you can't tell that by now. I need to express myself. My friends tell me, no, Doyle, you wear your emotions on your sleeve. And I do. Except when I'm wearing a tank top. Then I'm just a sleeveless crybaby. A little bit about my parents. I love my parents, but they're very different people. My dad is a psychotherapist. My mom is an artist. That means I'm clinically insane, but I can clearly express how that makes me feel. Especially when I work with oils on canvas. Speaking of crying, the other day I was in my car in the 10, and this guy was going 95 miles an hour. Cuts me off, almost runs into me. I'm so pissed. So I drive 100, catch up to him, almost cut him off, almost force him off the road. You know what this idiot does? He turns on a siren. That's how you express anger? You couldn't just flip me off like a real person? Oh. Guys, I got a girlfriend. That's not the joke. And I love her very much. I especially love how she murders plants. In fact, in the entire universe, she's the only kind of killer who kills by ignoring her victims. I'm just glad she totally gets it when I ignore her for interrupting my me time. I guess that's it. I mean, I could go on. We only have 3 minutes here, right?
Correct.
All right, I'm done. Thank you.
All right, Doyle Brand. So you're going to grab the, keep the mic and come and have a seat. All right. Doyle, how long have you been doing this? Oh, yes, of course.
80 years now. About 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah. I've been acting for about 20, but really only been doing the craft of stand-up for 2 years.
Gotcha. Very nice. Very nice. I think you have an excellent sense of pacing and structure. And I think that you're familiar with a comedian named Brian Regan?
Oh, yeah.
He's
great. I love him.
Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking. This is my thought. Is that as soon as you went up on stage, you kind of went into a character, which felt to me like a hyper version of you.
Yes, it is an exaggerated part of me.
And what I would suggest is that if you stay in that exaggerated place the entire time, it doesn't give you anywhere to go. And what I would suggest or consider is starting out just being you. And then when you want to exaggerate, you can go into the character. You remind me in a way of Brian Regan. And I would recommend watching him.
I watched him. Yeah, I like.
Because he'll just start out being him, and then when he goes into the act out, or when he demonstrates what he's trying to say, that's where he really exaggerates it. But then he can go back to just being him, and he can kind of modulate what he's doing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Kind of also reminds me of the Jim Gaffigan sort of third-party lady voice that he does.
Yes.
That kind of comments on. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And you may find it will give you, because then the other thing you could do is that if you have other characters that you can do for others, because I think also what Brian Regan does is that it's kind of like his dumb guy character. I feel like it's sort of his, it's kind of hyper dumb version of him, but it's not him, but it's exaggerated. Right. But if you have if there's a place of neutral that you can always go back to, it gives you more places to kind of go to, so you're not always kind of at that same level.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
That's out there, and then the joke about murdering the plants. Great. I think the beginning part, you can cut out a few words a little bit to kind of enhance the misdirection of my wife murders. My wife, you can almost kind of flip it, where my wife is a murderer. She murders by ignoring. She murders plants. You know what? I stand corrected. The way you did it was better. Ignore that.
That's all right.
Ignore that second one. But that first one that I gave you, that's a note that I approve of.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds great.
Yes. What are your notes?
Man, not too much really. I was trying to think with the me time joke. I think there's a stronger punchline out there for it. I don't know what it is, because it's good, but yeah, it's a good punchline. But I can't think of it. But something more concretely self-involving, other than it just being me time. I know you kind of need it because you have a callback for it, like a minute later. But I don't know. You're interrupting my, I don't know, some kind of thing that
I'm having a Doyle day.
That's
okay.
really something that's really self-involving. I don't know what it.
Well, what would be your version of me? Like, me time is kind of the general version. Do you have, like it's Doyle day, or it's,
Yeah, or
Doyle time.
You're I don't know. I'm in the middle of. I really can't think of anything right now. I'm writing my one-man show. I'm blogging right now. I don't know. Just something that's something that's really self-involving, and I suck right now that I can't even give.
That's all right. That's all right.
Decent ideas.
I got you.
Yeah. Okay. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then
Like a specific me time
right,
activity.
a specific me time activity, so that people can go, oh, he is a selfish piece of crap,
Right.
or self-involved. And then with the siren, man, it's such a funny joke. But I saw it coming because I think I was so on board with what your type of style is that I was like, oh man, it'd be so great if it turned out to be a cop.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's me thinking comedically because I was with you, or if the audience is going to see it coming too, and if I don't know. I mean, sorry, what are you going to say? You have something to say about it?
Well, most of the times that I've done that with audiences, they don't see it coming.
Okay.
So they laugh on the siren bit because it's the cop. Cool. As long as I set it up to where I'm just really infuriated that this is happening, and I think people can relate to road rage, and B, that I am my blind spot there is I really just don't realize that it is a cop, and I'm so focused on getting this guy, revenge on this guy.
I would have to, I'd have to see it again to see your actual wording on the setup. But if there's a way to add in that setup ways that you're really casually just talking about this jerk on the road, then it'll be even harder to see it coming. But like I said, if it already gets a laugh, then maybe it needs to stay right where it is. So please do.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I've tried other tags on that joke too. I know we only have limited time, but one thing I've learned is I used to try some tags where I'd be like, and then you know what he did? He called 5 of his friends with their sirens on, and they put down a spike strip on the road, and but then it goes from the audiences see it as bullshit. They go, oh, no, we don't believe you anymore. And once you break that world of believability, their bullshit meter goes up, and it's like, no, we're not going to laugh anymore. So I've tried those extra tags, and they don't work. I just end it with the siren or something,
What is your biggest secret?
Oh, well, it won't be a secret anymore. My biggest secret, gosh. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna. This is real. I'm gonna admit this for the first time in my life.
Awesome.
In front of a group of 4 live, but who knows how many thousands who hear this later. I once paid for sex.
All right.
Yeah, I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Panama. And yeah, I paid like $12 for sex. I don't think I'm a guy that really needs. I've never needed to do that, but you know, I was 22 and horny and just like, all right.
What does $12 get you in Panama?
You know, a really hot Colombian woman. Let me tell you.
Amazing.
Wow. 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 And are you now? Are you?
That was a big admission.
And you're right now. You're married, or you have a girlfriend? Or?
I do have a girlfriend. That would suck if she hears this.
Well, it happened before you knew her.
That's true. We all make mistakes. Yeah, I'm actually really committed and really in love actually right now. It's great.
Gotcha. So back to the Panamanian hooker.
Colombian.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Colombia. In Panama. Right. So this is the thing. Here's what I find fascinating about this. This is what I've been taught, and this is what I see over and over and over again, is that the comedians who go there, number one, it's something that no one else can talk about.
Right.
We're talking about, being unique. And it, you should totally talk about that on stage. You must.
Oh boy.
Because
okay. Okay.
You should write out the entire story. It's already, because here's what it does, is that it's, on top of the fact that it's a great story, there's a lot of jokes in there. It already,
right.
Now it also tells me that you were in the Peace Corps at 22. It also tells me that if you wanted, for instance, ask someone who was in the Peace Corps when you were 22 and experienced that, I could believe you when you talk about political things. Or things that relate to that, as someone who's actually lived it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like the whole universe, like 5 different universes just opened up there.
Right.
That may not even have really anything to do with the sex part.
Right.
But then I want to know, the fact, knowing this, but you're in a committed relationship. When do I tell her? Do I tell her? Do I not tell her? I mean, there's a whole. I really encourage you to explore that.
That's great. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's a whole other world that it opens up. Yeah. Cool.
Well done. Thank you.
Well, thank you. This has been fun. Thanks.
Doyle Brand, ladies and gentlemen. All right, our final comedian coming to stage. Please give a warm round of applause to Faruk. I'm going to fuck up the last name, aren't I?
That's how you pronounce it.
Faruk Amireh. There we go.
Thank you. Well, you got it. You said it right. My name is Faruk Amireh, but if you're a Starbucks barista, it's Frank. I am an Arab, you can tell, because this is my 5 o'clock shadow right now. I am in the middle of 5 children. My dad is very, very, very proud of only one of us. My mom is a little more understanding. She hates all of us. My mom has to be the bravest woman I know because my mom has a heavy Middle Eastern accent, but she understands English completely fine. But my mom only uses her accent when she wants to get out of trouble. For example, one day we're driving in a car and cop pulls her over, she's driving, and cop comes up to the window, license and registration. My mom's sitting there just kind of like, she's in a pause, she's like, I'm so sorry, I'm not understanding you. I'm sitting passenger seat like, no way. She's not gonna get away with this. And my mom continues, I'm so sorry, I'm not understand, this is my son. So like at that point, I have to have her back. I'm like, hello, how are you? And then the officer's like, all right, slow down and go straight home. My mom's like, thank you, okay, George Bush is good, thank you. This guy's an idiot, thank you so much. He has no idea what he's talking about, thank you. So that's my mom, she's brave. I'm at that age now where my parents are really pressuring me to have kids. And I just know all the responsibility that comes with it. It makes me nervous because I'm not ready. And I think about it too. I'm Middle Eastern. I work and live in Hollywood. And what if I have daughters? What if I have hot daughters? I'm not ready to be the next Bruce Jenner. You know what I mean? I mean, look at the facts. I'm tall, I have a great ass, and I'm not afraid to go down on black guys. So, yeah. So if you can't tell by now, I'm single. I'm sure that joke doesn't help me. But I am single. I don't mind being single, but the only thing I really dislike about being single is being the third wheeler. You know what I mean? I hate uncomfortable situations when I go out with my friends that are couples and being that third guy. Like I hate being alone at dinner. I hate when we go to the movies and I'm sitting by myself, and I hate holding the camera for them. That's the worst. I hate holding the camera. Now I've taken it into my hands to actually start directing them. So it'll be kind of something like, Hike. She doesn't like that. That's bad. Good job, Mike. Thank you, guys.
All right, Faruk, have a seat.
Thank you.
Faruk was recently in my stand-up class.
I was.
Yes, indeed. And so, how long have you been doing it? Was it 4 or 5 months now?
That was just getting back in it. I started when I was 18, but it was on and off. So that was kind of like, I just wanted to really get back in it and have structure and stuff. So that was, I think that was like even 2 months ago. When I was with you. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. That's
So,
right.
that was a lot of
Good
fun.
old stand-up 101.
Stand-up.
beginning.
Yeah.
Seth, why don't we start with you?
Okay, I don't really have that much. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is a quick thing. When you're doing, I know this is a weird setup here because
Yeah.
you don't quite know who to do it to. But when you're doing the mom bit, and then she's behind the wheel, which way are you facing when you're the mom and you're directing yourself and you're talking to the cop? Which way are you facing?
It's when I'm doing it like live on stage, mom, myself, and then cops just like right here.
Okay,
so
got
it's
it.
much cleaner when it's.
Got it. So, because I was gonna say, because like I didn't know if when you're facing away, I'm like definitely make sure that you're at least facing towards the audience for the mom thing, on at least, or like be centered, just because it's funny. To
Like
see
when
the
talking
mom's
to the
face.
cop, face the audience, or like because usually the way I do it.
At least that way. Yeah. How do you do it? Let's see.
Like this is my mom's like a wheel like this. I'm sitting here. Cops like she's talking.
Okay,
about.
perfect. Yeah, because then we'll see you on both sides, so it's fine. So never mind. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because man, it was so funny, and I'm like, man, I hope the crowd gets to see that because, God, that was cracking me up, dude.
Thank you.
I was here. Let me. Can I hear your joke again with the the bit about your father being proud of one of you? Can you say that line again? I know it's weird to like kind of.
Yeah, no trouble. I'm in the middle of 5 children, and my dad's very, very proud of one of us.
Yeah, I might try it as if without even the pause. I might just go right into it as if like that's just the statement as it is.
Yeah.
My father's very proud of one of us.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
You know
awesome.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
to see.
Just hits a lot faster. So.
Yeah, and it'll be people won't see it coming as much. They'll be like, oh wait, we just pretty much insulted that it's.
Yeah, got you. No, yeah, that's a great
It
note.
won't
Thank
give
you.
us time to. Yeah, it won't give us time to anticipate.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
That's really all I had.
Yes. Faruk.
Hey, Josh.
I want to push you now a little bit. There are a few jokes, like the 5 o'clock shadow one. I think you could do better. It's just a little. I've heard it before.
Okay, really?
Yeah, I've heard variations of that before, and I
was
think
it
you
just
could-
you say this is my 5 o'clock shadow?
I'm an Arab. You
Yeah.
can tell because this is my 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Was it tagged at like 5 a.m. or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think there's a way, and maybe what I would recommend is, I mean, how do people know that you're Arabic? Do people know?
You just look at me. Yeah, just look at me, Josh. Yeah, that's what,
What do people say to you?
Because darker features, usually.
But when somebody comes
Because
up,
you have the facial hair.
does
And that's why I
somebody
use
does
that.
somebody say, "Oh, do they ask you? Do they automatically assume that you're what?"
Usually people, the first thing they look at me like, you're Persian, aren't you? And I'm just like, I don't know, but I don't blame you for asking me.
And you're Palestinian, right?
I am.
Yes.
I am
Okay.
Palestinian.
So how does it feel to be called a Persian when you're a Palestinian?
Completely fine, because we all look the same.
I mean, what's funny is like
There's no difference.
99% of America, I think, probably for them, like Persian, Arab, Middle Eastern. That's the
It's
exact
like,
same thing.
yeah, it's like calling a Japanese guy like Chinese or something. They're like, I'm Japanese. It's like,
Yeah, but
my bad.
This is the thing. This is the interesting thing about it, though, is that there is it's about like identifying point of view. Kind of what I was talking about with Kelly is that there's a difference between being saying I'm Arab and saying I'm Palestinian. I would say the Palestinian is more specific because that already it's a way more specific thing to set up in the
Right.
beginning. because it's a different Arab, for instance,
Yeah.
than Persian. I mean, it's a whole different experience.
Right. For that, I think I totally agree. I think it just have to be a different joke, because if I say you can tell I'm Palestinian, you can't just tell if somebody's Palestinian, because we all more or less look like. I'm from Miami, so over there I was Puerto Rican. Out here, I'm Persian out here, so yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
because you were
I could just switch it to that one.
Yeah, that one's good. But I would say maybe the reason what I'm looking for there is that I just have this odd feeling that it's all maybe I don't know. I might just be projecting this on you, that it might be more of an emotional risk to come out and say Palestinian versus Arab.
Just be more specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have no problem with that. I had this other joke where I talk about how I'm from Florida, but I go to Palestine's over the summers, and I'm chafing all year round because it's just from hot to hotter. So, yeah, that one I use sometimes.
I want to know more, because I don't feel like I have seen too many Palestinian comedians.
Yeah.
Or comedians who are from Palestine. I know they're out there.
Yeah.
But, because I know, I've heard, I'm Arab, but Palestinian, there's so much more
right.
specific. Like, I know a friend, Paul Elia, who's Chaldean. You know, whenever he talks about that, like, I'd never heard of that before. And I love when he talks about that on stage, because it's just so, what is Chaldean? What is that?
It's like more specific to him.
Exactly.
Yeah, gotcha.
I thought when you're in the act out with mom, and then you say something, I have to play along. Hello. I feel like there's something you can say that's a little bit more absurd than hello. That's just even more, for lack of a better term, fobby. You know, I don't know what exactly it would be, but you know, I have to play along.
Yeah.
Hot dog, you know, or something.
Yeah. Flip flop.
Trying to be American and failing at it badly, like 'cause along the lines of her going George Bush, fun.
Just holding a Happy Meal. Look.
Hey, cowboy, hey.
Or with her, the other thing you can do with her, by the way, is you can always kind of plug in. I always plug in different things like Hillary, you know, or something.
Trump. You can make America great again. Yes?
Build the wall, build the wall.
Keep them out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Build the wall.
Exactly.
Make the sand glow. That's what Trump said. Oh my God.
Oh, that's right. He did say that too.
Yeah,
Thank you for reminding me why I'm terrified of this man.
Yeah.
Oh God, he did say that.
It's
Make the
pretty
sand
horrible.
glow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta just.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible.
Still the nominee.
But it's getting him.
I just can't. People are like, but we're still gonna vote for him.
Yeah.
Tards. All right.
He's on to something.
No, he's not. No,
He's speaking the truth, man.
Yeah.
Speaking his mind. That's what I like about it.
That sand's been dark for too long.
Light it up.
The Bruce Jenner joke. I think actually, if you just said, "I don't want to be Caitlyn Jenner,"
Just goes cut to Caitlyn.
cut right there, and that might be the end of it. And I also, again, I feel like you can do. I feel like I'm pushing it. You can do better. Like that one is. I like the complaint of what if I have girl. I like the fear of that. What if I have girls and they, you know? But I go. Like, actually, are you really afraid of having girls?
No, well, I thought about that. I'm like, if I continue my career doing what I'm doing, and if I have daughters, because the majority of my family, their first 2 to 3 children are all girls, like all the guys, I'm talking like 7+ families, they're all girls in the beginning. So I'm just like, what if I have girls and I'm still in this industry? What would that kind of make me kind of, sort of, you know what I mean?
Right, and
so
you're
it's
afraid,
kind of-
you don't want them to be in this environment? Is that...
Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind if they want a career in it, but then what if something goes wrong and they steer off the right track? You know what I mean? And they just become crazy or something, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh man.
What would be the wrong track? Drugs and alcohol and...
Yeah, just publicly, just go all out slut or something like that, or something publicly.
Right, in LA, a legitimate fear. Like in other parts, it's interesting. In other parts of the country, you have a
It
daughter.
would be like the next Kardashians.
Right,
almost,
that's your fear.
Yeah.
That's interesting to you. I have a huge respect for the Kardashians. Am I the only one? I really do. Like
It's good shit.
yeah. I mean, they're making more than I am.
They are. There's a smart business. Yeah.
It did just occur to me though, because I actually laughed pretty hard at the joke of you going down on black guys, but it does. I just realized it doesn't quite match up with the premise because you don't want to be the next Bruce, but
Right,
he's not
he's,
the one.
Yeah.
Shoot, sorry. I hope I didn't just.
Well,
shine too
he's-
much of a flashlight on.
But he's Caitlyn now, so
Right,
you don't
right,
really
he's
know.
Caitlyn.
Right. So yeah, you're right. I don't know.
You don't know
No,
who
I
he
think-
goes down.
I don't know
No,
who
I
she's
think
going down.
I think he still dates women though, right? That's what.
Right, and then when he was called out for being a lesbian, and he was like, "Why is it so important to you?"
Right.
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 And he's just getting the whole
Or she.
people mess.
Sorry,
And
she.
she.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
We're all
one.
cool here.
That one is.
1 second.
Yeah, again, just I think the more that you so the fear is I'm afraid that my daughters are going to become the Kardashians. That's your fear,
Pretty much. Something
and
around that.
I don't want to be okay. Your fear the Kardashians and that they're going to be sluts and all of that.
I could
And-
just say, well, I don't want to father the next set of Kardashians. You know, or instead of cutting out, like I cut out Caitlyn Jenner.
Right. I don't want to. Well, yeah, because technically, actually, the real the real father is Robert Kardashian, who's dead now.
Right. Oh, he's the stepfather. He's, what's her name? The other girl's father. Kylie Jenner.
It might,
Right.
it might be a good exercise to actually explore that premise of you being the next Kardashian and why it might be a good thing instead of just a bad thing. I don't know if, I don't even know. Just find out, because I'm a big fan of the NBA, so we'll have players in our family or I don't just
Yeah.
whatever reasons. Like
Why is
play
it
with the
bad?
premise? If I was the next Kardashian, what would that mean for me?
Always
Why
wanted
is
to
being a
be-
Kardashian
life.
bad to you?
Just I don't want that image for my daughters. It's basically sex cells. That's
What
their
image
whole
do you?
image.
What do you want them to be?
Just not that. Anything but that. You know.
Famous for being whores.
I mean, that could be just a whole different set. I could be like, or maybe I do want to be the next Caitlyn Jenner. You know what I mean?
Right.
That could be, and then I can just go on a different rant of all the good things of that.
Like you don't want them to be the next Kardashians, you want them to be the next Hilton, or I don't know, something.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
I guess. Have a camera follow me and get paid for it. It's
Never
easy
know.
living.
Yeah.
But I was also glad that the two of you got to talk a bit because you kind of remind me of each other because you're really big on the act outs, and I know
Yeah.
that's also something.
I love the act outs.
Yeah, that's something that Seth is a fan of as well from the sketch background. But Faruk, thank you so much.
Thank you so
for
much, you
coming
guys.
on
Appreciate it.
and doing this.
Thank you.
Oh, and we've gone over time. I've broken my promise to only do an hour podcast, so we have to wrap this up quickly. Seth,
Yes.
Any closing words of advice?
No, I mean, thank you for having me. This is all. I mean, I'm still very much in the learning process of all this too, and I love exploring the art of it. I mean, that definitely is more fun for me than frankly than the business side of this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I really love just pushing and trying to find comedy in the different ways that you might not have. So thanks, the three of you are really great today.
Yes, a round of applause for all of our comedians.
Yeah.
There we go. So, just to reiterate, folks, Friday night, Intimate Evening with a Dick. I know that's not the title, but that's the one I like. Andy Dick on Friday. David Koechner on Saturday. In Claremont, Justin Hires. Friday and Saturday, star of Rush Hour, Detective Carter himself, will be in Claremont. We did not know that he was going to be in Claremont until just this week. This is amazing. This is phenomenal. Get your ass out to Claremont to see Justin Hires.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Sundays with Jeff Garland continues. Huge celebrity guest coming this Sunday. We don't know who. He's going to be big, though.
And tonight in 1 hour, Seth Shapiro and Friends.
Seth Shapiro
Right here
and
at Flappers.
Friends here at Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant.